So, you've decided you want to become a space trucker. What's up, Commanders? Dinebot here. Welcome back to the Elite Dangerous 2024 Starter Guide Series. Today, we're going to be taking a look at cargo hauling. Now, first off, let's take a look at the type of missions that you can get from Starport Services. But before we even dive into that, I would recommend, guys, that before you even take some missions, go in and buy yourself a fuel scoop. I've bought myself a very, very cheap one here. This thing was only 309 credits. This will allow you to refuel off stars as you travel, greatly extending your range over the 7.29 light years by allowing you to keep flying without having to stop at space stations all the time. So, before we get into how to actually run cargo missions, there's two things we need to talk about: progression and ship size. So progression is pretty simple. Things don't really get too much more complicated than pick thing up here and take thing there, or sometimes to multiple theirs, A, B, and C. What does change is your ship size and the amount of cargo that you are carrying. That leads us directly into landing pad size and ship size, which we will take a look at now. If we go into Starport Services and hit up the shipyard here, I'm going to manage my ships, and you'll see right here in the bottom right, there is a little thing that says landing pad requirement. The Sidewinder needs a small, the Alliance Chieftain needs a medium, and if we are getting something like the Beluga, it needs a large. Python Mark II is actually a medium. This is the size of pad that your ship can land on. Now, a Sidewinder can land on a large, medium, or small. In practice, the game's always going to assign you a small if it's available. But we cannot land a transporter on a small, just like we cannot land a Beluga on a small. What does this matter? Well, if you get to a place with your cargo and you're in a ship that can't land at the pads that place has available, you're basically out of luck, and that mission or that cargo run is going to be screwed. Now, how do we see where ships can land? Well, there is a pretty easy rule for it. Now, the information used to be available in the system maps, and correct me if I'm wrong below, Commanders, but I cannot find it in here anymore. I've clicked through every single tab. However, here's a general rule of thumb. The big space stations, things like Gregory Vision, those are going to have all three sizes of pads. We're going to back up here real quick into the galaxy map and take a look at another system. We're going to go to Fincian because we actually have the system info for it. Fincian has several different types of ports. These are the smaller ports. You'll see the info all over here. These are going to have small and medium as a general rule. This is another large port. It's going to have large pads. And then most of your big planetary settlements are going to have large, medium, and small. That's going to be like cities like this right here. However, your other types of settlements may only have a medium, or they may only have a small. So one thing you can do, if you target a space station in your HUD over here, you will see has appropriate landing pads. That means that we can in fact land this ship here. So those are the two things to keep in mind. I like to recommend flying medium cargo ships, as they can get pretty much anywhere you need to go, and with the introduction of the Type 8, which can hold almost as much cargo as two of the largest cargo ships, there's really no reason not to fly a medium ship. Alright, let's move on to how does this actually work. Now then, let's dive into the mission board. We're going to be going to the mission board, not the passenger lounge, and we want to head over to these transportation missions. Now, early in the game, you are likely to come across quite a lot of these courier jobs, and these can be pretty good. Just make sure you pay attention to the threat level up here. This is a threat level 5. You are very, very likely to have people come after you, and you are probably not going to survive that in the Sidewinder. I would suggest looking for low threat missions, these green ones, these threat level 0s. Now, what you can do with these missions, because they do not actually take any cargo space, you'll see right here says data will be stored on your computer, will not require any cargo space. What you could do is you could look for a system that has a bunch of them stacked up. Let's look through here. Here we go. This is a small example. Sometimes you'll see up to 4 or 5 of these. But we could take these right here to Nambikura, however you say that. That one's going to Humphreys City. That one's going to another terminal, but you're going to the same star system. You take these, you stack them up, you are going to spend a little bit of time going from station to station in your destination star system, but you're going to be able to get 18 grand, 15 grand. You stack this 4 or 5 times, you're talking about a pretty good little chunk of change. Now, you'll see some here that pay, say, 138,000. This is a threat level 4. A lot of the times, your threat level is going to very directly influence the amount you get paid. You'll also see these. These are team missions. They want 2,981 tons of fish. You are not doing that on your own in a reasonable time period. You're going to want a wing, and that is a very, very high threat level. Also see these black box salvage missions. This is going to task you to go somewhere and actually find them. I would recommend, starting out, that you either take a few of these missions that want you to courier data and things around, or maybe you can source things like power generators. This one wants you to go find power generators from a suitable market. Tells you it's going to cost about 12,300 credits. Convey the goods back to this, and then you'll get paid. You'll notice the reward is quite good. So, how would we go about doing this exactly? Where would we find power generators? Well, we could look in the commodities market, and we can look, and we want to buy power generators. Now, oh look, we're not going to be able to see that because this place doesn't actually let you buy them. But if you go to the sell tab, here we are, power generators. Now, we can see that they are produced by HIP 97950, and then also this system. If you click on the map, this will take you straight in. You can plot a route here. This is what I was talking about earlier with, or in the previous video, rather, about maps. Getting into the screen, there is a lot of data here. Now, you can buy the trending trade data here to give you an idea of what is being moved in and out of a system, but if you want actual prices, you will have had to have docked within that system. And you can see the trade route right there, the various things that are flowing back and forth. We can actually plot a route straight to this market. So we're going to go ahead and do this mission, just like you guys have never actually done a mission before. I'm going to back out here. We're going to cancel this, go back to the mission, and accept it. There we go. Now, the next thing that we need to check on, and I've done this on purpose here, is our cargo space. You'll see right down here at the bottom, our ship can only hold 2 tons of cargo. We can't carry 5 power generators. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in here and we're going to ditch a fuel modules. Things that I just don't use and do not care for. That's going to be the advanced docking computer, and the takeout computer, and I don't really need a planetary vehicle hangar on a Sidewinder. Now what this is going to allow us to do is come in here, and we're going to be able to buy some cargo racks. So we're going to buy 1 capacity 4. We don't want to buy too many, as this does eat into our jump range. However, you'll see that because we took some weight out, we have actually extended our jump range. So now we have a capacity 4 and a capacity 2. We can comfortably hold what we want. Alright, now that we have enough cargo, we're going to go ahead and launch, just like you guys have never done a mission before. So we're just going to hit launch right here. And you'll notice that you can see our target destination there on the HUD. That will not always be the case. That's simply because the station happens to be orbiting towards it right now. So, I'm going to go ahead and lift off. And out we go. Now, we just have to clear mass lock, which is the space station behind us, keeping us from actually making it into hyperspace. And once we do that, we are just simply going to engage our hyperdrive, jump to the next station, and then we will head to the space station, and I will spare you guys some of the in-flight time and just jump us straight there. Here we are at our destination starport. What we need to do is I'm just going to go ahead and refuel. Then we're going to take a look at Starport Services, and we want the commodities market. And if you remember, we were in the market for 5 power generators. You'll see right there, it is marked with our mission symbol. Now, this will allow us to go to 6 because that is the maximum amount of cargo that we need. It tells you right here the active mission requires 5. So we'll go ahead and hit buy. Now that that is done, we have all 5 of them in our cargo bay. You can check that by going over here and going to your inventory tab. There we go. 5 power generators in our inventory, ready to go. Now we need to go ahead and source and return these back to the space station. Let's go ahead and jump right on back over there through the magic of editing. Alright guys, here we are right back at Aldred Market where we started. Let's go ahead and hit up Starport Services. Go to the mission board. You'll notice that blue tag over here on the right. It is going to show us the mission depot. Source and return 5 units of power distributors. You click on this, you tell it to deliver items, and then you click the 5. Now, an important note, if you were doing, say, one of those missions we talked about earlier that is a team mission, you would simply drop off everything you had and deliver, and more than likely the bar would not be filled, because those missions generally want a lot of items. In this case, yes, we have confirmed that we have delivered all 5, and now we get to choose a reward. Now, early on, you may want to go with just cash, but if you are looking for materials or reputation to get more missions unlocked with a faction, take whichever one you need. I'm going to straight take that, and you'll notice that we have been promoted, mission complete, and we've had some reputation increases right here. You'll see it right here. There we go. That, guys, is how to do some basic missions that you can get handed. Now, how to do your own missions. Well, one thing you can do is sit here in the commodities market for a little while, and you can look at what you can buy from this market and what you can sell from it. So you can see here, let's take a look at consumer items. So you could sell consumer items here. They have a very high demand. Now you just need to know where to get them. Well, that would be over here at Bacchanatari or another station, hit 97590. What can you buy here? We could buy algae here. That we could take to several other systems nearby. How about beer? You can see that, and you can see the prices. You can see things like the high supply in this market down there. And you'll also see where it is prohibited. You can't take this to a federal or theocracy market, for example. It would be considered illegal. Leather. You can see this. Now, another way that you can see some of this info is if you go to the Galaxy map. If you've not watched the episode on how to navigate and use the Galaxy map, I strongly suggest you do, because it is going to be something that you need to learn how to operate. If we open up the Galaxy map and we head down here to this arrow, this is trade routes. Now, I have it in the wrong map mode. That is my fault. Put it in Federation mode right there. I'll switch this into economy mode. And then we can look and we can see what is coming in and out of these systems. We want to put this on commanders or all, and we'll be able to see the items that are being traded. Now, of course, this doesn't tell us anything because it's just colors. However, the colors are coded for you. So what did we see a minute ago? We saw purple, blue, and green. So, under here, this is chemicals. What chemicals are coming in out of here? It looks like it's going to be hydrogen fuel. We could also sort for other things. This is one way that you can see on a larger scale where things are and where they're going. It gives you a visual representation. I kind of prefer to actually use the market for this. It's a little clearer to read. There are also third-party websites that you can use to do this. So this is where you could kind of figure out what you might want to source. I would say that's something you could get for a decent price here. We could get beer for 104 credits here, and we could potentially, if this data is accurate, sell it in Bacchanatari at this depot for 758 credits. That's a pretty good return on our investment. Let's go ahead and buy 6 tons of beer.
Cargo hold at maximum capacity.
And we're going to set course for that system. So, how are we going to do that? We're going to turn right over here to the side panel, and we're going to scroll all the way down. There is that system. We're going to lock our destination. Alternatively, if you wanted to, you could come to the galaxy map, and I believe that was Gregory Vision. Now, I can plot a route straight to that if we want. It's going to tell you it's right there. Either way, we have our destination, and now it is time to take off. And through the magic of editing, I will see you guys on Gregory Station in Bakantrari, or however you say that. Alright, here we are on the pad at Gregory Vision. Let's go ahead and head to the commodities market. Hit that sell tab. You notice that right here we have our beer. We're going to be selling all 6 of them. It's going to tell us our total income, how many credits per unit, and our total profit. So, not a bad trip. Now, if we wanted to go back to the other system, we can take a look and see here that atmospheric processors they might like to buy. That is going to a different place, to Gerasimenko. Or if we wanted to keep scanning, we can see Aldrin Market right there. They want marine equipment. Now, marine equipment is a good bit more expensive, but it should get us a much better profit as well. Now, guys, this is the basics of a trade route in Elite Dangerous. You can see supply here, and you can see demand when you are in the other systems. This game does work on realistic supply and demand. The more items you sell, the lower the demand, and the lower the price is going to fall. That is how you can find a trade route on your own now. Am I going to show you this in a much larger ship? No, I'm actually not, because this is the essential game loop. It's not really going to change. It's going to just simply scale. The Type 7 here, well, the Type 7, let's look at its details. The Type 7 can carry 128 tons of cargo stock. That is a good bit more than our 6 tons, but the actual gameplay mechanics here don't change. We are simply able to take missions that offer more cargo for us to transport. We're able to take trade routes that allow us to carry more cargo. It is simply a scaling. When you get all the way up here to something like the Imperial Cutter, Federal Corvette, or the Anaconda, which we have just gone past, you're looking at 164 tons there, 76 here, because those are more combat focused. But let's take a look at the Anaconda, and there's the Type 8. Type 8 is going to be 400. Imperial Clipper, we're looking at 74. And you'll notice that the smaller ships, like the Adder, they don't carry much, but the Anaconda, another 400 tons. Of course, this is a pretty expensive ship, but you'll be able to carry 400 tons of cargo. Gameplay loop, not going to change. The amount of materials you can carry is basically what is going to change. So that is the basics of cargo hauling, either through picking a mission or picking up a trade route yourself and experimenting with it. So guys, what you need to do is just figure out some routes that work for you wherever you are. Don't be afraid to move around and look at systems. Supply and demand, and the things that are in supply and demand are going to change drastically between systems. The types of economy is going to influence that. Think of it like you would think of it in real life, and you'll be just fine. Take it back to high school economics. You have a city that creates a whole bunch of high-tech parts on the planet. They're not going to want to buy high-tech parts, but they might want to buy food. They probably want beer. They might want raw materials or raw parts for the tech that they make. Take that tech somewhere that might have need of it. If the system that you're in is making agricultural machinery, go find a farming system and sell them agricultural machinery there. That is literally the way it works. And that's going to do it for me today, guys. If you found the video useful or helpful, hey, like and subscribe. Leave me a comment down below with something else you'd like to see me cover for you in Elite Dangerous. If you're here to the end, watch time's key on YouTube, so thank you very much for that. My name is Dimebot. I'll see you next time, Commanders.